Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 1, Under Locks and Keys. When we last left off, the party has now survived 3 rounds of the 6th Septennial Doomspell Tournament. They have fought using the ancient methods of the original Dragon Slayers, the more new and intuitive, if somewhat unpredictable and strange methods of demon-slaying warriors from the West, and the methods used by the colorful children's characters of bedtime stories and fairy tales. Now, much to the presumed chagrin of the Terrorfang triplets, the Divine Five now finds themselves back in their physical normal forms, but with a small change that has been made. You are all now Nosferatu, creatures of the night, vampires, blood-sucking monsters that feed on the blood of the living and turn them into more of themselves. And you have been told that this transformation has been unpredictably dropped among your allies, or competitors, shall I say, and you need not fight at all if you can successfully turn your opponents. With that said, do any of you guys have any business while you're on the field surrounded by the crowd, or are you ready to head back to the locker room?
Do I see which way the vampire sisters go?
You had seen in the last session that they were escorted off the field towards the western exit door by Nitro.
But do I know where those can go afterward?
No. All you know is that they're allowed to go back to the locker room just to pick up their stuff, but beyond that, you actually haven't seen any of the fighters of the losing team since you beat them. So you have no idea where they tend to go afterwards.
Then I guess he'll just try to go back to the locker room as quickly as he can to see if he can't catch them before they leave.
Okay. Anyone else?
He doesn't have anything really he wants to do. He's just gonna, I guess, adjust to being dead, in a sense.
Okay. You all look to your competitors, your teams, and start making your way back to your respective locker rooms. You can hear the major league fighters are all kind of excitedly chattering amongst themselves. The minor league fighters, on the other hand, seem kind of nervous. And the champion simply walks silently off the arena and out of sight. Greylog, you run ahead of the group a little bit. And thankfully, you reach the door of the minor league locker room a bit ahead of everyone else. As you see, the Terrorfang triplets are already packing up their things, taking the soil out of their hammocks and dumping them into what looks like crates. And as you enter the locker room, the 3 of them kind of peek up, seeming kind of surprised to see you here, and they kind of look over your shoulder and see that nobody else is with you. And is there something we can help you with?
Yes, actually. So it seems the next round, some of us return it to your kind, and others are still human. And I was wondering if there's any way you could teach me some of your tricks and secrets. I'm willing to pay.
They kind of glance to each other, and you'll actually be given the dubious honor of getting to make our the first roll for this system. Now, Vampire the Masquerade is actually a very, very easy system to learn. Basically, you will roll. I will choose 2 stats, and you will roll a amount of d10s that I tell you. And any d10 that lands on 5 or greater is considered a success. And basically, what matters is the amount of 5 or higher you get. However, if you roll 2 1s, that is a critical fail. And if you roll 2 10s, that is a critical success. So very simple.
Okay.
I'm going to call this a. I will call this a etiquette and manipulation check. So with
manipulating people up in this shit.
So with that said, I'll say roll me 4 d10s. Again, very, very simple system.
Let's see. My first 2 that I rolled, one's a 5 and the other's a 9. And then the other 2 is a 6 and a 1.
Okay. They kind of look to each other, look back to you, and it is not a simple thing to teach, young blood, but we can demonstrate the basics. Do you have any soil from your homeland?
Let me think. Does he have
Our
any?
party was turned into vampires, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to think if he realistically would actually have any soil at all.
Jeremy, do you carry dirt in your pockets from your homeland?
No, not really.
All right.
So, sadly, I do not.
They kind of give a nod, and then you will be unable to sleep. There is no use trying. It will give you no rest. However, you can go much far longer without sleeping, so this should be little issue.
Okay.
Our kind has more important things to do when night falls. And you can see all 3 of them kind of look you up and down and bare their fangs, and you catch their drift.
He's going to smile a bit at that, actually.
They kind of think for a moment, and beyond that, you have been blessed with abilities based on the exact nature of your infection. It will be up to you to determine that, although if you wish, we can assist to the best of our abilities. Is this a private affair, or will Mr. Paul be joining us?
I'll be passing on anything that I learned from you guys to the rest of my group, including Paul. I just trying to get a little bit of a leg up on the other competition.
Well then, some basic advice before we part for now. Sleeping will not grant you rest unless it is in the soil of your home. And depending on your strain of infection, you have been granted abilities based on who sired you. And these abilities will no longer work when the sun is high. But in the moonlight, you are more powerful than any mortal on this vessel.
That sounds pretty cool.
It is at times, but remember, in sunlight, you are as vulnerable as any mortal man. Beyond that, I imagine you already make a habit of avoiding stakes to the heart, yes?
Yes, very much. That'll kill anybody.
Then, And she smiles, and at this point, you've just like kind of been looking in the doorway of the minor league locker room, and otherwise, like not entering directly. She kind of gives you a smirk, and why don't you come in?
He will walk in.
And she smiles at you, and I hope you enjoyed being able to do that. You are not able to cross thresholds without somebody inviting you inside. Have all of you and your comrades been turned?
From what I could tell, I'm fairly sure my comrades have. I can't speak for the other teams, but it doesn't make any sense for them to make only part of my team into a vampire.
Then this rule applies to all of you. You will not be able to enter a room without being invited.
That's good to know. Good. So other vampires can't invite other vampires in?
As long as one is already inside, yes. And they give you a fang-bearing grin. The others will be arriving soon, and being surrounded by so many young bloods leaves a sour taste. We will linger on the ship to watch you and your team's remaining fights. Feel free to approach us if you can handle the daylight, Mr. Greylog. And they all give you a smirk and all bow to you before grabbing their stuff, and with surprising strength lifting up their crates of soil and leaving the minor league locker room.
He will bow in return, by the way.
Okay. Which they smile in appreciation.
Since they are technically going to be his teachers.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say by this point, Asari, Paul, Avaben, you and all the other minor league fighters at this point start to arrive at the minor league locker room.
When they get here, I'm going to, in a roundabout way, say, what was our team name? The Divine Five. Why don't you all come in so we can relax and enjoy the night?
All right. None of you have any issue crossing the threshold. You can see the seven samurai enter seemingly without issue, and they kind of tilt their head in curiosity, kind of squinting at all of you. But you can see one by one, about half the teams come in. But another half kind of stands outside, seeming unable to cross.
When I see this, can I look at them all and say, "What are you all waiting for? Why don't you all come in?"
Matthew, I was gonna have a Vaven roll to see if he knows anything about vampires.
Okay. So you are going to roll me
a recollection check.
In this case, not quite recollection. This one is going to be an occult and intelligence check. So you are going to roll me. Not bad. You are going to roll me a. Let's call it 3d10.
All right, do I tell you the total roll or?
Basically, 5 or higher automatically succeeds, so just tell me how many successes you got. But if you got 2 10s or 2 1s, also mention that.
Like 2 10s and 2 1s in one roll?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like you're rolling 3d10, but if you roll 2 1s or 2 10s, then mention that so that I can take that into account. Other than that, all you need to worry about is how many of them are 5 or higher, and just tell me how many of them are that.
All right, I guess I'll use one of my D100 dice is a third D10.
Yeah, that's fine. It's functionally the same.
I got a 9, a 4, and a 2.
All right, so that is one success. You are familiar with Nosferatu as a species. While the infection does not come to the Underdark super often, surprisingly, as it's mostly...
Show up in the Underdark.
True. But point being, your main experience with them is, if I recall correctly, when you were a very young age. So you might not be old enough to remember it, but your woodlands were invaded by the original vampires back whenever the infection first started to spread in your home. Your people fought them off, as they clearly are not all undead bloodsuckers. But because of that, you at least have a basic knowledge of them because of, your family at least feeling it was probably smart, just for cautious sake, to give you a basic idea of what to do if you ever found yourself fighting them. However, because of that, you don't know much about their individual capabilities, but you do know their weaknesses. A stake to the heart will instantly kill their body.
That would instantly kill most people's body.
But you do know that the only way to truly kill them permanently is to find their resting place and stake their body there. So even if you were to drive an arrow that you had kind of turned into a makeshift stake through their heart, that would get them out of your way, but that individual could still come back later. So the only way to truly get rid of them for good is to find their resting place and stake them there. You do also know that sunlight does not harm them, contrary to popular belief, but it does make them unable to use their magical abilities, rendering them about as vulnerable as a regular person.
I guess there are high stakes.
Awful.
So you're going to get negative inspiration for that.
Come on. I got to laugh. So,
this isn't Ruby. You don't get points for puns. But yeah, so yeah, that's I'll say that's about the extent of your knowledge.
They can't enter doors shit.
Yeah, I'll say yes. You know that they cannot enter domiciles without being invited.
So can the Maven take note of all the people who are able to easily walk in other than our own party?
You absolutely can, my friend. You will make me I'll call this a investigation and perception check. So roll me. You're pretty good at this. Roll me 4 d10s.
So we got a 5, a 5, a 1, and a 3.
Okay, 2 successes. 2 successes. You actually get what you need. You're kind of lost in thought, like trying to remember everything that your family told you about these blood-sucking monsters. But then once that thought occurs to you, you turn and are able to get a decent look at those who are unable to cross until invited in. You realize that you only got past it because of Greylog cleverly inviting you in broadly, but unlike you, the rest of those who were turned are not so lucky. You realize it's actually something of a minority among the minor league, those who were turned. You see that those who were turned as well are the bomb squad, those little rolling dudes, little marbles, and to your surprise, the swarm storm. You would have just mistaken it for anxiety, but at this point, you're not willing to put anything up to chance.
Oh, so that only that few number of people were turned?
Yeah, as far as you can tell, out of the 7 remaining fighters, 3 of them were turned. 4 of them, as far as you can tell, are human.
Yeah, this feels
Or,
like
you know.
fucking Among Us now.
You know what's
If there's a
ironic?
fucking...
But
Imagine if there was an Among Us tabletop.
Greylock
Oh my
does
god,
invite
yeah.
the others in.
No, yeah, like, I maybe just saw them
roundabout way.
before you.
I know. I
Okay.
was just making sure you didn't accidentally forget, you know.
Okay.
Just a little reminder.
Yeah,
Mhm.
ironically.
Yeah. Everyone enters in. What's that?
Said ironically, I was playing a vampire game right before this. I was playing V Rising.
Yeah, very fitting. All right. Anything else while you guys are here, or are you content to start settling down?
I'm going to start settling down, but I'm going to whisper to the others, don't bother trying to sleep. It won't work. You won't really get any benefits.
So, Matthew, the captain said that if you can turn all of your opponent team, you move on automatically.
Yeah, basically, you'll literally just go out to the arena, show that you had infected them before the fight even started, and it's considered a win by default. Because while you guys... No, he had mentioned this, so all of you know this regardless of your pre-existing Nosferatu knowledge. When a Nosferatu infects somebody, they automatically gain dominion over that person. So basically, if you infect your opponent, even if you didn't win by default, you could literally just say surrender and they would do it.
Okay, so you specifically have to turn your entire opponent. It can't be that.
Well, not necessarily. Basically, as long as your opponent is all turned by someone on your team, then you're good. But yes, if say the Divine Five infects all of, let's say, the Bomb Squad except for one, but then somebody else, let's say the Swarm Storm, infects one of them, then yes, you would still have one opponent who can fight. But at that point, you've turned it from a 5v5 to a 5v1.
I mean, technically,
Yeah.
if you have, I'm assuming if you have both dominions, you just say, "Hey, fight that last guy."
Yeah, so technically 9 against 1.
So basically, what I was thinking that was he was going, now that he knows then a good margin who all is who, he was thinking of what if the vampires all just work together to turn all the others? But you said specifically they have to have turned their enemy team.
Don't. What you could do is we could all work together, and then basically, hey, whenever the arena starts, you command them to just not do anything beforehand. Hey,
essentially, you could affect, because remember, the fights take place at night, so your powers will still work. So yeah, you could, in theory, just have, because basically that means every vampire team guarantees wins their match. And because they won using the methods Imamu wanted, that also basically guarantees they're going to stay in this round. Because, I mean, that's good for the crowd. Holy shit, they won the fight before they even got out here.
Yeah, just imagine how that would be if we everybody just gathered to pick, all right, who's ready for the fight, and just one by one all the enemy fighters that aren't vampires just give up.
Yeah. Yeah, Imamu said this one is meant to be a more kind of interactive thing for the audience, because for them it's also just that kind of, ooh, there's vampires on the ship with us, scary.
Okay,
I love this.
To voice his plan to the party, and then maybe see about trying to get it across to the others that he saw couldn't get through the door.
Yeah, which were the Bomb Squad and the Swarm Storm.
Basically get across to hey, I think we should meet and have a little discussion about this. I think we could.
All right, so you're gonna do that just while everyone's gearing up for bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything from you, Paul?
Paul's gonna go lay down.
Okay. Sorry.
She says no. She
Okay.
shook her head. She's a bit tired.
No, understandable. I get it. If you need to leave early, no sweat.
Raven's plan.
Well, yeah, I was about to get to that. I was making sure nobody else had anything before that started going around. All right, so Paul, you just as Greylog gives you a kind of passing warning that sleep won't do you any good, you just kind of shrug it off and hop up into your bed. The twins joining you as per the norm, and Greylog, as you and Asari are setting up on your hammocks, and Avaben, you start walking across to all of them. You all notice that the air in the locker room, which again, even this morning was like fairly friendly. Like you guys have gotten to know each other decently. Most of the fighters that are left all at least like you well enough, but that sense of camaraderie has quickly vanished, as this is one of the few rounds where you are actively encouraged to sabotage your teammates, or rather your fellow competitors. And as a result, even the non-vampires don't seem like they're going to be sleeping anytime soon. The 7 samurai just stay out in the outside locker room, and they're all kind of whispering to each other. You can't quite hear what they're saying without further investigation. The remaining fighters are across the locker room, kind of just in their hammocks, weapons to hand. Most of them aren't even out of their armors, just suspiciously watching those who are infected.
7 people in total, or 7?
7 teams. Yeah, 7 teams left.
Okay.
Yeah, the teams that are left are the 7 Samurai, the Scorpio Sailors, the Firing Line, the Deck Stackers, the Bomb Squad, the Swarm Storm, and the Divine 5.
And the Divine 5, the 7 Samurai, and the Swarm Storm seem to be the vampires.
No, the Bomb Squad and the Swarm Storm, and you guys are the vampires. As far as you can tell, the 7 Samurai are non-infected.
Because I remember in the door easily.
Mm-hmm.
There's an uneven number of teams. How are the fights going to be arranged?
Remember, some of the minor league fighters fight major league fighters instead of the minors.
Oh.
Ooh, maybe we'll be up against a major league this time.
I might mess with the Vaven's plan, though, who ended up facing a major league team that we had no ability to talk to. Because we're, like, segregated.
Avaben, as you approach everyone, the tension in the locker room palpable. You pass along word to them that you are considering bringing the Bomb Squad and the Swarm Storm into the fold and infect the rest of the minor league throughout the night, which would effectively ensure you 3 teams' victories, both in the tournament and in the battle, at the expense of one of your fellow minor league team members. Does anyone object to Avaben's proposed plan?
No.
No, but maybe perhaps I should go speak with the 7 Samurai. I've made friends with them, so maybe, I don't know, help them somehow.
No offense, sorry, but they are our competition.
True.
They
can still be
wind up
friends.
having to be our opponents.
Yeah, do you suppose we should wait to see who our opponents are, or should we just, like, infect anyone we see? Like, what's the plan?
Well, my plan is that if our teams work together, we might be. If we just infect all of them, it doesn't matter who we face.
Yeah, the only issue is they're too alert right now.
That's why I wanted to just see if the other teams like us wanted to meet and maybe discuss the idea. And then from there we can see about how to go about it.
And he's also going to mention to the others, by the way, I'm also getting, I'm going to be getting lessons from the three sisters. So I'll pass on whatever I learn. Just in case.
I do know.
Matthew, could I maybe recollect? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Austin.
I'm good.
No, you go first, honey.
Thanks.
I was just mentioning that I do have a conversation that does not pertain to this conversation.
So my question was gonna be, could I possibly recollect any like anything I would know, like abilities that maybe vampires have, like what their magic is, since like I studied magic and shit.
Make me an occult and intelligence check. In your case, you are going to roll. Oh, very nice. You are going to roll me 8 d10s.
Whoa.
Okay, hang on. Give me 1 second. Let me pull some.
Now, does that increase the chance of critical fail, though?
But it also increases critical success.
Yeah, I mean, it increases the chance of success, but I just wondered if we roll 2 1s out of all those 8s, would that still count?
Yeah, that is true. Having more dice is kind of a double-edged sword.
One more.
Mm-hmm. It's meant to be kind of, especially because there is a mechanic that has. I'm going to mention it when it comes up, but it hasn't come up yet. That's also going to make the dice an even more unpredictable beast.
8.
Like I said, just how many of them are 5 or higher? As long as there's not 2 10s or 2 1s, just tell me how many of them are 5 or higher. Like I said, it's not the total number that matters; it's the amount that are 5 or higher.
Okay, so 6 of them are 5 and higher. The other 2 are low.
Okay, that's fine. So that's 6 successes. Given the score I had set for this challenge, that's very good. So, Asari, while, again, it is not exactly your MO, you do have an advantage. Much like Avaben, you lived through an age where Britannia was at war with the vampires. As a result, you have, out of this party, probably the most intimate knowledge of what they're capable of. I will say you basically know just about everything. Much like what the Terrafang triplets told Greylog is true. Based on the strain of infection you got, everyone will have different abilities. So while you don't know exactly what you and your party members are capable of, as you would need to figure out what strains they have, you know that there's a lot of capabilities that you can do. Now, I'll say basically with that check, just remind me if it comes up. If you guys can identify the strain, or if just something comes up that helps identify it, I will go ahead and give you a sorry that you will know what they're capable of. But just to give a few examples of what you guys are capable of now. While not all of you are capable of magic, some of you are capable of remaining unseen even in a big crowd. Basically, you can blend in with humans perfectly. Some of you are able to have supernatural speed and reflexes. Your strength may be enhanced. You may be supernaturally persuasive. Some of you will even have the ability to control animals because they just have an affinity to you. However, you, Asari, know something that Avaben didn't, again, given your intimate experience with the creatures. You see, It is a disease for a reason. No, people do not consider turning to be necessarily an upgrade, at least not for the most part. All strains of the disease come with a price. For some, it's a price that they're willing to pay. For some, it modifies their appearances and makes them a little more unsightly and bestial. For some, it modifies their personality. Some are driven to madness. Some have uncontrollable tempers. But all do share one trait in common. If you see fresh blood, like from a wound, fresh blood, you will very likely fly into a blood rage, where you will basically lose all self-control and attempt to kill the person who's bleeding.
Okay.
And I will say you learn enough from this check to also let me explain the last mechanic you guys need to worry about. It is not just your health that you need to contend with. You also have to contend with your hunger. When you use your powers, when you do things that only a Nosferatu can do, you will lose a point of hunger. And if your hunger runs dry, you will immediately fly into a blood rage because you're starving, and I take control of your character until your character eats. But there is some additional consequences. Remember how I said the dice can be something of a double-edged sword?
Mhm.
For every point of hunger your characters have, you will gain what's called bloody dice. You will pick some of the dice among your set that you're rolling and make those based on how many points. Let's say if I ask you to roll 4 d10s and you have 2 points of hunger, that's 2 bloody dice and 2 regular ones. And if your bloody dice roll crits, something even more extreme can happen. For instance, if you roll a critical success, 2 10s on your blood dice, then you still automatically succeed, but you reveal to everyone surrounding you that you're a vampire. Whereas if you crit fail with your blood dice, instant, unavoidable blood rage.
Interesting.
This game is about constantly battling your urge to drain the blood of everyone around you and trying desperately to cling to your humanity. So you all have the basically basics of what you know. Everyone, based on the strain of infection they were given, has unique powers that make them very strong, but the more they rely on them, the more dangerous they'll become, because they'll get hungrier and hungrier.
I have a follow-up question.
By all means.
With that check, I don't know if I need to make another one. I will if I do. With that check, do I know how to tell each strain? And how to tell what our powers are?
Typically, the only way to tell is by figuring out the sort of like behavioral patterns of the infected. So I will tell you that basically I will tell you that you can try to gauge it based on essentially the how on the traits of your comrades, but the more efficient way to tell would be, as you guys had been doing previously, kind of experiment a little bit with what you can do, and once you realize what someone on the party is capable of, that will help you very quickly narrow down the strain. And again, given how successful your check was, I'll say if you can narrow down what someone's strain is, I'll let you kind of figure it out automatically and go from there.
So I have a kind of a shot in the dark idea. It's a total shot in the dark. If I can figure out what our powers are, it's possible we could make them go to sleep in one way or another. It will really depend on what kind of power we have. but I won't know that until we either figure it out ourselves like we have been doing it, or I just go based off of what I know. We've only been traveling together for, what, 3-4 months? I don't know all of you that well, so. It's a shot in the dark, but if I could figure it out, maybe I could figure out what the other strains, like the other vampires are, and that way we can give them an insight and give them a idea to actually go through with either Vince plan, because I don't think it's a bad idea, but I do think that having that kind of ammunition is a good idea.
We do have our next fight, like, the next night, right?
Yeah. You have an entire day, and then at nightfall, the fights will start.
We don't exactly have a lot of time to be doing a lot of looking into it. We need to at least put the idea out there as soon as possible.
Well, I'm just saying we should go with your plan. We should go with your plan, but I can give them information and give them more of a reason to work with us. You know what I mean?
Information for cooperation.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, considering the fact that we can't sleep anyways. Might as well see. Given wait, I think isn't there a rule that we can't be out after dark?
You can't get caught out after dark.
Maybe we'll see. And
then, there's a whole other room in there. We could just go into the locker.
That's true. I guess we could see if they would want to talk out there.
And then, I do have a quick question, DM.
What's up?
Would I know anything about vampires on whether or not the whole myth of being able to turn into a bat is real or not?
I'm going to have you make me an occult intelligence check. Roll me... Hang on, let me get to your character sheet real quick. Roll me... you are not fantastic at this. Roll me two d10s.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
It's a 9 and a 2.
You know they're associated with animals, but whether it's being able to control them, summon them, or turn into them, you don't remember.
So I guess for the time being, could he ask us sorry?
Do you ask him sorry?
Quite remember?
What?
Oh. So he's going to whisper this to us, sorry. Can we turn it into bat?
I assume, from what little I know from mechanics, Matthew, correct me if I'm wrong, is it based on what abilities they have because of the strain that they have?
Yes, different strains. However, I will say different strains are better at it, but any strain can learn to do it. It is an ability that comes natural, but yes, there are Nosferatu that are so naturally predisposed to it that it, basically from the moment of infection, they can do it instantly.
I will explain that to him in a way that he can understand. I'm gonna go out and live in here. Because your whole thing is about the trees and the world and whatever you do in the, your little hippie thing. I'm wondering if you can turn into a bat. Have you thought about maybe trying?
Are we in the other... he wants to go into the other room now, the locker room, and he wants to concentrate on bats. And the idea of turning into one.
Okay. And I will say with that in mind, I know you said earlier you wanted to go into the locker room and talk to the Seven Samurai. Do you want to do that first or just do this?
I think we wanted to talk to the Storm and the Bullet team because they're the vampires, right?
they want to
Well, yeah, but Greylog had said earlier he wanted to go into the other room and talk to the samurai, so I wanted to check.
No, that was the sorry you wanted to do that.
Oh, that was a sorry that wanted to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, it was.
Well, do you still want to do that?
So. No, it was
Okay,
disregarded. So.
Yeah, because we
Alright.
want to make sure it's not our competition first.
I guess you could say you're sorry.
Man, that's worse than my
Negative inspiration. I'm kidding. That was pretty good. I'll give you that one.
No, I appreciate
All right.
that one. Thank you.
That was worse than mine.
That was beautiful. Shut up.
What?
That was
I
a piece
think
of art.
it's way better.
You
No.
cannot. You see, Jerry, you cannot. One does not simply
He's gonna-
critique a work of art like a pun.
It's so true.
Greylog, you all watch, and even the non-infected team members watch with some interest as Greylog, you walk out into the other room with the with the 7 samurai, who kind of like watch you suspiciously, and you concentrate, and you all watch incredulously with a slight red mist and a horrifying deformation. Greylog transforms into a bat, and with that. Asari, you discover Greylog has the protein strain, what's known in-game as the gangrel bloodline. Asari, you know from seeing him do that, given that he did no training and can just do it instinctually, you know that the protein strain, as the name implies, it's a unique strain of vampirism that attacks the proteins in your body. These tend to be very good shapeshifters. They can not only transform themselves completely, they can modify their own features, giving themselves claws, meld into the dirt to hide, shit like that. They tend to be very strong, they're very tough, and supposedly there's rumors that those of that strain are even fireproof and can go out in sunlight and still use their powers. And they can interact with and take control of animals. However, again, all strains come with a downside. The gangrel, if they go into a blood rage, they gain an animalistic feature that can last for days, like a hangover. Which will not only make it very obvious that he's infected to others, but will also just be generally disadvantageous. You also know that these infected tend to be kind of impulsive. I will say, Greylog, your compulsion, this is basically something that your character will do whether you like it or not, so just bear this in mind going forward. You have the feral impulses compulsion. Speech is kind of hard for you, clothes are uncomfortable, and you think arguments are best settled with teeth and claws.
That actually adds up.
Oh boy.
This fits perfectly.
Now, I studied all the different bloodlines to figure out which one worked best for each character.
If you turn back into a man for me, that would be fan-fucking-tastic.
Greylog, do you do so?
He wants to play around just a little bit. Just a little bit. Stop playing!
I've got shit to tell you, please don't fly away. Oh, he's gonna fly away.
He just does like a little lap around the locker room, bombard the 7 samurai a little bit. Just like swoop him a little bit, but not aggressively. And then he'll go back over there to a sorry and shift
All
back.
All right.
I'm just gonna give him a good old shake. All right, I'm gonna tell you everything I know, and I will info dump on him.
Yeah, so Greylog, you basically just learn everything I just said.
Info dump.
Good to know.
So try not to do things. Yeah, just try not to do things.
Fuck you.
All right. Greylog, you have lost 1 hunger point. You have 4 remaining. And so bear in mind that for every roll until you eat, you're going to have to add a bloody dice to every roll you make. So just go ahead and set aside one that you can remember is your blood dice. The dice itself will work the same way. The only difference is if it lands on a 10 or a 1, just point it out as what it is, because at that point, you don't need to get 2, you just need to get 1. Because it's going to be messy either way.
Good to know.
And I will mention there's only one other thing. You guys each have a willpower stat. It's about in the 3 to 5 range for all of you, just kind of varying here and there. You can expend 1 point of willpower to get 3 rerolls of your choice for a roll. However, bear in mind that if you run out of willpower, again, blood rage.
A lot of reasons to with blood rage.
Again, that's the whole point of the game, is like trying to keep blood rages at bay as much as possible.
I was thinking, like, you walk down the street, blood rage.
Yeah, blood rage.
I'm really liking this.
No, this is actually a really fun system. I got really into it while learning the rules. Anyway, Vampire Masquerade comes later. So yeah, Paul, you're just still laying down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Greylog, as you transform back into your mortal form, the samurai kind of look at you as Asari, you explain what the protein strain of the infection does to him. And once you're finished, Justin in the other room just kind of smirks at the two of you and, well, you fellas ain't exactly subtle, are you?
Well, I guess, as everyone's already figured it out, it was pretty obvious to those who couldn't cross the threshold.
That'll give you. And the gambler kind of leaning back against the lockers, kind of with his boots crossed on the bench, just kind of smirks and, for all you know, though, it's possible that one of us managed to get somebody else to invite us in. You never know. And he kind of gives a shrug.
Well, considering I got here before all of you guys, I would have seen it.
They kind of just impassively stare for a moment before kind of stretching a little bit and, well, if you'll excuse us, yeah, we ain't exactly in the business of just waiting around to get bit.
Well, I don't bite much.
You are such a liar.
I said much.
We're going to go out and do some investigation into the wonders. You guys in?
You know what? Might be a good way to test out some of my new abilities. You know,
What did I just say?
practice makes perfect, love.
Oh,
I'm in.
right.
Which one are we going for tonight?
Same deal as always. You guys are free to stay or go as you please. We'll be sure to report anything we find back to you, of course, Dr. Koo.
Yeah, but to live the experience, who might say no?
What about the rest of y'all? You in? He kind of rubs the back of his head and, all right, just an idea. Well, you two tag along. And he looks to the teammate who had stayed behind last time, who just kind of, with their arms crossed, gives a nod. And, yeah, keep watch for us. We won't be gone long. And he waves to Greylog and Asari. Two of you coming?
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
And then he wants to try out this little idea real quick. I don't think it'll use a blood. Like, I don't think it'll use any of his points. Does he have to breathe?
You kind of gauge it for a second, kind of doing that thing where you become a lot more conscious of your bodily functions. No?
And he's not going to breathe because then he doesn't have to worry about making any sound.
Okay.
That sounds.
Hey,
The two
it
of
could be
you
very
and
loud
6 of the 7 samurai. The two of you and 6 of the 7 samurai make your way out of the locker room. Rather than moving the thing with magic, they use their newly established little route of sneaking up through the water and moving the blockade on the other side. And Paul, you and Avaben watch as all but one of your competitors and 2 of your teammates vanish out into the darkness of Plundon. Paul, are you just going to stay in bed pretty much the night?
Now make sure. Did Sari tell us about like the whole blood rage?
Did you? Sorry.
Oh yeah, total info dump.
Okay, so yeah, Sari informed you.
Okay. So Paul's going to do absolutely nothing.
Okay.
He's just going to lay there. I guess think about what to do next.
Okay. Avaben, as Asari and Greylog disappear into the darkness and carefully shut the door behind them, you look and see Paul is just kind of seeming a little on edge, just laying down, staring at the ceiling with the twins. And the rest of the locker room kind of watches you cautiously, as if they didn't know for sure before, they do now. Although you are somewhat mollified to know that nobody seems eager to jump on the 7 samurai just blatantly sneaking out, and at the very least seem willing to, not snitch on anyone, as you acknowledge, like, they could take this opportunity to get someone else out of the game, but they seem at least content that much that they're not going to go that far. But they do watch you and Paul very cautiously as they all lay in their beds. The only ones that seem pretty calm are the Swarm Storm and the Bomb Squad. The Bomb Squad are just getting cozied up in their little backpack, and the Swarm Storm is just laying in his hammock but kind of keeps fidgeting as, again, he's not really able to sleep. Do you wish to do anything, Avaben, or are you going to wait for the others to get back?
Did he already suggest to the other people to have a little discussion?
Not yet. Do you want to do that now?
Might as well.
Okay. You kind of look to Paul again before heading over to the Swarm Storm and to the Bomb Squad and suggest a kind of careful meeting. The Swarm Storm just acquiesces immediately, and as you're going to get the Bomb Squad, he just trails behind you and just, honestly, I'm glad you said something, because I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping, and he just kind of babbles as you get the Bomb Squad, who, they seem a little...
I think everything will be quite clear.
The Bomb Squad kind of rolls up to you, and as you pass along the message, they seem a little suspicious, but do follow behind you in the Swarm Storm as you, given that the other room is completely empty outside of the single member of the 7 Samurai, do you want to have the discussion with them in there, or where Paul can hear it?
I guess he could just fill Paul in later. I guess he'll use the locker room, but he'll try to not say anything too loudly so that the one person in there doesn't hear them.
Okay. The Bomb Squad kind of line up looking like a game of marbles, and the Swarm Storm sits next to you and kind of fidgets awkwardly. And the Bomb Squad are the first to break the silence. All right, tall, dark, and handsome, what's the play?
Well, I noticed that your two teams seem to have a little trouble entering today.
Yeah, I mean, I typically try not to go in someplace without being invited, but, I figured, we're all professionals here, so I gotta act like one of you, but... And the bomb squad kind of nods. Yeah, it's, like we got up there and just couldn't go any further.
I assume the competition was explained to everybody that some of them are going to be vampires, basically.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure y'all know the competition, and I'm wondering if y'all know the only group of people who have that kind of problem.
Yeah, that would explain it. And he kind of nervously looks at his fingers, almost like he's unsure what to do with himself. And the bomb squad just kind of nod, and one of them speaks up. Indeed. And what about the Divine Five? Are you in the same boat?
Yeah, we were just lucky that one of us was able to get in there before the rest of everybody and invited us in.
That's real smart.
So, the reason I wanted to talk to you is you heard the captain. There is a way that all three of our teams could win this without having to fight at all.
The Swarm Storm just kind of tilts their head, seeming kind of confused, but the bomb squad, the one who seems to be the leader with the kind of quiet, deeper voice pipes up. You're proposing an alliance. Infect, and he kind of stops and glances into the other room before looking back to you. Infect all the others. Leave no room for competition.
And if we wind up infecting the people we're facing, we can just have them surrender. But part of the agreement, because we don't necessarily know outright who we're facing yet, we may have to have an agreement that if we wind up facing someone that one of us turned, we will help out our temporary allies.
Okay, I think I get it. That way, all of us beat the battles, and we follow the captain's suggestion. Should make us look good enough to ensure we stay in the game.
That's exactly what I was. I'm sure he'd get a
that's real smart.
Alliance building.
Indeed, he might. The bomb squad kind of look to each other. The Swarm Storm seems a little nervous. Vaben, you are going to roll me. I'll call this a manipulation and... I'll say a manipulation and a charisma check. Roll me 4 d10s.
That's going to be a 9, a 10, and 2 2s.
9, a 10, and 2 2s. Okay. Again, they look to each other, kind of contemplate for a minute, and then nod. We find your terms agreeable, Mr. Storm. Yeah, I'm in. Is the rest of your friends in on this?
I told them of my plan, and I'll fill them in on your participation whenever I get the chance. I guess it might be important to get some information from my new allies. What do you think would be the best approach? Should we try to begin as soon as possible, or maybe wait and see if they'll tell us who we're fighting?
I actually might be able to help here. I do a lot of reading in my spare time. I know a little bit about what we are now. The bomb squad kind of tilt their little marble heads. Go on. Well, our powers won't work anymore when the sun comes up. So, well, remember there's no rule saying that we can't, fight it out, so to speak, in the locker rooms. If we wait for everybody else to go to sleep, we can't sleep anyway, so if we just wait, they might have people keeping watch, but I'm sure some of us have some kind of ability between us that can take out anyone they have keeping watch, and we infect everyone who's asleep. We have to get it done tonight, or we won't have time. It'll be harder if we wait till the day, not to mention they'll be awake and active, and we might not have time to hit them before the fights.
That is true.
There's three of us.
You
Go on.
ahead.
There are three of us and 4 teams that appear uninfected. Assuming that calculation is correct, that means at least one of us will have to infect 2 teams.
Well, in theory,
So who are we going to hit?
hang on, how many people are in each of these 3 teams? I know one of them is just one person, right?
There's 5 members of the bomb squad, 1 member of the swarm storm, and the 5 of you.
Well, I was going to... Normally I probably would suggest the largest team, but there's a bit of a tie in that regard. Oh, sorry.
They kind of...
I gotta be right back. Can you, go to them real quick?
Yeah, I'll skip... I'll see what the others are up to. No worries. All right. Swap music real quick. Greylog, sorry. As the 2 of you start sneaking around the dark, dimly lit halls of Plundon, you watch as the now 6th samurai kind of seem to be keeping a bit of a respectable distance. Not so much that they're completely apart from you, but enough that they're playing it safe.
How's my vision?
Your vision is great.
Nice.
As the 2 of you work your way along, Justin kind of hangs back from the rest of his team to the 2 of you before walking alongside you, seeming the most comfortable and at ease. Although he does kind of keep his... He doesn't seem to be as touchy as he normally is. Kind of keeps his hands off of the 2 of you. But he nods to the 2 of you as you sneak through the halls and... All right. You guys got any suggestions of what wonder to hit next? None of the arenas is closed as far as we know. We were thinking of maybe checking out Arena 1 to see if we can't find anything, but if you guys want to try out one of the other wonders, we're game.
Let's look through the staircase.
All right. The balcony to nowhere. He kind of clicks his tongue, and you see the other members of the team pick up, and he waves at the gambler, who nods and kind of falls back a little bit. And he, on the other hand, seems relatively unafraid, putting his hand on Greylog's shoulder as the four of you now sneak behind the other 5. And what's up? We find ourselves in need of finding the balcony to nowhere. You remember where it is? Yeah, I do. Let's hope my source is reliable. And he takes out a cigarette and lights it, and starts to smoke a little bit before sneaking his way along.
Sorry about that. My food had arrived.
No worries. No worries, you're good. Come on, follow me. And he starts to get a little bit ahead of the rest of you.
And
What's that?
I give you my word. I'm not going to bite you right now. I know the rest of your crew is a little worried right now. But you got nothing to worry about.
Well, we ain't exactly in a low-stress situation, Mr. Greylog, I'll give you that much. What about you, Dr. Koo? You have any interest in biting my succulent little neck?
I don't know. Are you going to buy me dinner first?
He smiles and...
He's a full course meal.
I prefer not to think about that. All right. I'll pass on the word. And he gets a little bit ahead of the two of you, giving you a bit of time alone. Anything from the two of you, or are you just going to follow the samurai until you make it to this supposed balcony to nowhere?
Just that this is awesome. Like, I see so great right now.
You know we have to turn.
Well, we don't have to. There's like two other groups.
Isn't that like the whole point of this thing was
Yeah, but
for all of us to like turn someone?
Yeah, but there's two other groups that can do it for us. I don't know about you, but I don't want to fight my friend.
Tempting.
Fair enough. And I only said we wouldn't fight them right now. I didn't say we wouldn't fight them later.
I will think about that.
Because he did specify.
No, he did. Whether they caught that or not is up to them. You all are escorted down the dark halls, carefully creeping along before you make it to a doorway that the team stops in front of, and the gambler holds up his hand to signal you all to stop before bending down and starting to pick the lock. A tense moment passes before the door swings open, and he's like, all right, we're in, and kind of ducks and rolls inside, and the rest of the samurai follow suit with the exception of Justin, who waves to the two of you. Well, and he tips his hat. Come on in.
Appreciate it.
Aren't you the charm?
And he smirks, and as the two of you enter without issue, he looks to you as sorry and gives a wink. My, what large teeth you have.
I just kind of give like one of the.
And Greylock's would mutter under his breath. It's better to bite you with later. In a jokingly way. The same way that he did.
He kind of smirks a little bit and then nods. All right. And he carefully shuts the door and, Al, keep watch. Alfred gives a nod and sidles up next to the door with hands on his belt. And let us know if you hear anything. Nosferatu or otherwise. And with that, he turns with the two of you, and you see the rest of his team are kind of staring up towards the ceiling of the room you find yourselves in. The room is full of a lot of crates and cages. It seems to just be a storage room. But there it is. At the top of the room, about you'd guesstimate like 15 feet in the air, 20 maybe. There's a balcony with a door on the right-hand side of it, yet with no obvious way to access it. No staircase.
I also have an idea. Instead of turning into a bat, let's see if we can levitate. I heard of vampires levitating before.
He'll try?
I'll also try. And then if I can't do it, if after 10 minutes, I'm going to suggest something to Justin.
Okay. Greylog, try as you might, you cannot get yourself to levitate. It appears that, at least for now, that is outside of your capabilities. However, sorry, as you focus, you begin to levitate. While a lot of strains possess this, you know that you are now capable of blood sorcery. As long as you're not starving, you can perform magic.
The pen went out. I gotta get a different pen.
blood magic.
Blood magic.
Blood magic. So as long as I'm not starving, I can do magic.
Yes. But you now have 4 points of hunger remaining. So you have 1 bloody dice. Now that you're levitating, do you just get up to the balcony?
Yeah, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna test the little doorknob.
Locked.
Can I do one of those cartoon peeky things and see if I can't look through the keyhole?
Toss down a rope.
Oh shit. Yeah. I do have that. I'm gonna bring out my rope. Thanks, love.
You got a master lockpicker down here.
The gambler indeed seems very excited, is rubbing his hands together, and the moment that Asari tosses down the rope and ties it off, he immediately just starts climbing. Justin is not far behind, although the others wait for you, Greylog, if you wish to climb up as well.
I know y'all still worried, so no worries. I'm going. And he'll climb up. Sign of good faith.
The gambler joins you up, as well as Justin himself, and Greylog, you climb aboard. So it's those two, Asari and Greylog, up on the balcony to nowhere. And Justin kind of puts a hand on your shoulder, Asari, and thanks for the help.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah, better than our plan. Our plan, if you guys couldn't do that, was to just stand on each other's shoulders and hope for the best.
Humans are so funny.
Yeah, like their balance would be good enough for that. No offense.
Yeah, try not to get high on your blood supply there, Toothy.
Yeah,
Unless you don't want this door open and you don't want to see what's on the other side.
Oh, come on. Don't tease.
even for even if we weren't vampires, it would be very difficult to stand on shoulders for that height.
Love.
Oh, just say.
Let's see what's behind this door, shall we?
My lips are now.
Yeah, before you decide to take a nap in that hole you're digging. And with he bends down on one knee and starts to pick the lock. But just as you hear the of a lock being undone, Asari, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck kind of stand up. You have a premonition, which means you now realize that you have the Auspex ability. You have extrasensory perception, awareness, and premonitions, and that actually helps you narrow down. You have the blood strain, specifically the Nosferatu disease that targets the blood. Again, because of your good roll earlier, you all automatically know what you're capable of. Your special abilities are Auspex, as I just mentioned, Blood Sorcery, which you already know, and Dominate. As long as you can make eye contact with somebody, you can mind control them. However, you have 2 noteworthy defects. You have deficient blood. If you turn somebody into a vampire, they are not obedient to you. So any vampires you create will still maintain their independence if you don't have eye contact with them. And you have a compulsion, perfectionism. If you do anything less than exceptionally on a task, you will experience a profound sense of failure and may be compelled to repeat it obsessively until you get it just right, quote unquote.
All right. I wrote everything at my OCD.
So nothing has really changed for her. Okay.
I picked out the compulsions were a lot of why I picked the different clans for each of you. So Greylog has the protein strain. Asari has the blood strain. And Asari, as you get that extrasensory perception, and you see Alfred, or rather you hear him, but you see him start to kind of edge to...
Cutting out.
Oh, sorry. Alfred, just as Asari's perception, like extrasensory ability, was like coming through, Alfred indeed confirms it. Someone's coming.
The door! Open the door! Let's go!
You can see Justin and the gambler both look kind of like seriously hesitating to the door. It's unlocked, and they want so badly to see what's on the other side. But
they get caught.
Yeah, let's try to hide. We can think about the repercussions later. Go.
All right, so you guys are suggesting hide in the door you just unlocked?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Justin looks down to the others as the gambler throws the door open and oh, well, don't wait for the welcome wagon. Come on. And he like gestures for you guys to come in once he's invited you. And Justin calls down to his teammates, "Up here, fellas, come on. I'll get the rope." And everyone starts to hurriedly climb up the rope to get up to the balcony. Did the two of you enter the door?
Yep.
I'm going to wait a second. I want to help drag people up. Do I have any extra strength to help pick them up once they get close?
Yeah, you're stronger than most. You outright just start it's kind of half dragging, half carrying members of the samurai team away from the rope, and Justin hurriedly unties it and but doesn't even bother fully coiling around him, so it just starts dragging it towards the door and dives in and just yanks it as the gambler, working with the samurai member that's all in black, to shut the door, sealing you all in darkness.
Stand very, very still. Just shh.
Wait, complete darkness, or can I still see?
You guys can see fine. The two of you looking around via your dark vision, you see that you're in what appears to be a whole separate locker room, seemingly one that's in disuse. You can see the lockers themselves are in disrepair, the benches are rotting, and you can see a room that goes off into where the hammocks usually are across the way, although it turns so you can't see what's on the other side.
He's going to start wandering around looking to see what's still here.
I'll join.
Like maybe old teams who may have left items behind.
Okay. As the seven samurai cautiously just listen, waiting for any indication of what's out there, if whoever or whatever it is waiting for them is going to come up here and discover you all. Tension is high. And the two of you, able to see and hear comfortably, just start wandering. Most of the lockers appear to be empty. However, your attention is drawn to something else. Greylog and Asari, as you two are checking the locker rooms and kind of peek into the bedroom just to see if there's anything obvious lying around in the hammocks maybe, you realize the hammocks are occupied.
Shit.
He's still not breathing. He's been very quiet.
Just like get down low and just shh. Like, can we see who's in the hammock?
Indeed, you can. You see the Kappa crew and the surviving members of the Star Strikers.
The losing crew.
Hmm.
Do they seem like they're sleeping?
Do you approach them?
I look at Greylog, questioning, like with a question mark on my face.
He's going to do a little wing flapping motion.
Shake my head no.
And I guess he's going to be very, very quiet. And he's going to motion to her to stay, and he's going to head out very quietly.
Okay. Asari, you watch as Greylog starts to sneak his way through. Greylog, roll me. You are going to make me a stealth and... I'll call this a stealth and dexterity check. So roll me... you're pretty good at most of this. Roll me 60 10s. But remember, you have used up a point of hunger, so one of those is going to be a blood dice. And if that one rolls a 10 or a 1, let me know. Otherwise, again, it's just however many 5 or highers you get.
Okay, good. So I have 3 succeeds, 3 failures, but on 2 of the successfuls, they are 10s. So I got 2 10s.
Okay, so how many successes total, but with a crit success?
3 total, 1 critical success.
Okay. Greylog, you carefully creep your way into the bedroom and snake your way. You notice, almost seemingly out of habit maybe, the Kappa crew and the Star Strikers are sleeping in the hammocks they used to sleep in the minor league locker room. But as you approach them, you realize they're not sleeping. Their eyes are open, their breathing is normal, but they're just staring at the ceiling, not doing anything.
Are the 3 vampire souls in here as well?
You do not see them.
There's something really strange about this. And they're not they look fine, they're just not moving. Correct?
Yes. However, I will say you notice the Star Striker members, specifically it's the Halfling and the Dryad, they look kind of disheveled. Their faces are kind of red, and they look a little malnourished. You suspect they haven't eaten properly since their defeat.
He's going to go back to Asari. They seem to... It's almost like they're, frozen in time. But
Can I go check it out? Maybe I can make some sense of it.
I don't know. It's
Just let me try.
just be careful. Something's not right.
I'm gonna go quietly investigate. And then before I leave, I'll just tell Greylog to tell the others and just make sure that everyone's quiet and all of that.
Yeah, so I'll go pass on to the 7 samurai and let them know, hey, I found some very disturbing things here.
What kind of disturbing exactly?
So, the losing
There's
team?
bodies out there in the dark. I don't want to know.
The losing teams, well, you know how nobody's actually seen them around anymore?
Oh, don't tell me.
Yeah, I found it.
Legends are true then.
Well, they're not dead. They're just, for lack of a better way to put it, they've been petrified.
The hell's the matter with them?
I have no idea, but some of them don't look like they haven't eaten in a long time.
Who's keeping them up here?
I don't know, but I got a feeling that Captain's not being quite so honest with us about this competition.
Sorry, as you go in to investigate, what exactly are you looking for?
Let me think. So he said that they looked petrified.
Yes.
As a intellectual of many broad things, I
As a
would
polymath?
know, as a polymath, I would know that there are different ways of being petrified. So maybe could I tell if they're actually petrified? Like are they frozen in place?
So you're trying to identify what exactly is wrong with them?
Yeah, like what's going on with them? Are they alive? Are they dead? Are they suspended in animation? What the fuck?
He flat out said that they're still alive because they're still breathing.
I know, but I kind of want to just assess the situation.
Yeah, I was like,
That's fair.
This whole thing about, I think my character would know about, petrification, all that, but, in a sense,
Well,
I just want to know what's
to
wrong.
be fair, I know about petrification. Like, I know things.
But then again, my character has better medicine than you.
I know, but like, I'm talking like magical petrification.
Okay, fair enough.
It's fun.
All right, I'll call this a... So you're trying to identify what exactly is wrong with them. I'll call this... Roll me a medicine and occult check. In other words, roll me... oh, you're actually very good at this. Roll me 9 d10s. But remember, one of them is going to be a blood dice.
One fail so far.
Yeah, remember, 5 or higher, just automatic succeed. All that matters is how many. But if your blood dice rolls a 10 or a 1, let me know. And if you roll 2 10s or 2 1s, let me know.
Blood dice.
So the last one I did was the blood dice, which was a 2.
Yeah, repeat yourself. The internet got bad there for a minute.
Yeah, I heard the last one was a blood
The blood dice
too.
with a 2.
All right, yeah, that's fine. As long as it's not a 10 or a 1, you're fine. So how many successes?
But 5.
5.
Okay, 5 successes. Looking them over, sorry, you're not a doctor, not in the traditional, medical sense, but you are decently aware of magic. They're not petrified. You're confident that Greylog misidentified. They are not petrified. If they were petrified, they wouldn't be breathing.
Right.
As far as you can tell, nothing is physically keeping them here. It's as if they're just lying there and just not doing anything. Nothing appears to be obviously wrong with them. They're just not moving beyond just breathing and staring at the ceiling. They blink occasionally, but in these almost like robotic intervals.
Okay, I want to try something. I'm going to go to which one of those guys was like our friend, the orange one, right?
The turtle leader?
Yeah.
The leader was the blue one. Was the leader, Mr. K.
So I'm gonna go to Mr. K, and I'm gonna stare into his eyes, not like dominance thing, but see if I can make a connection. And I'm gonna say in a very low voice, if you can understand me, blink only once.
So to be clear, you're not using your magic at all. You're just trying to reach out to him?
Yes.
Sounds good, yeah.
Well, fuck. This is going to go
Make-
badly.
This is interesting.
Okay.
Roll me.
Okay, I like that first roll.
Roll me 3d10.
Okay. I choose you. 'Cause you
Remember,
rolled
remember
a-
one blood dice.
One blood dice. Okay, one ran away. Oh, they're all succeeds.
All right, 3 successes. Okay.
Yeah.
He blinks twice.
And then to blink only once and blink twice. Okay. Can you blink if you can understand? Did I already say understand me?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah, and he blinked, but more than you requested him to.
Okay. Could you blink if you are only able to blink in succession?
There's like a pause, and they blink, but very slowly, almost like they're not sure they're supposed to. It seems like you more just confuse them than anything.
Okay. So it's like he can understand me, but like he can't blink only once. I was gonna do like once for yes, two for no kind of thing, but didn't seem like that would work. I'm gonna go back over to Greylog. I think they can understand me, but it's rather confusing. See, I asked them to blink only once, but he blinked twice. If he could understand. I'll look to Justin and the others.
So they can't move.
I mean, I can ask, but I mean, it's pretty apparent they can't move.
So at this point, I'm just going to walk back in.
Blink once for yes, two for no kind of thing, but like, I don't think we can get any information from them.
I have an idea. And he's going to walk back in. He's not bothering to stealth or anything like that, since he's fairly sure that they're not able to actually get up and do anything.
Okay.
And he's going to go back to the same turtle that Asari was at, the blue one,
Okay.
Mr. K. Blink if you remember who did this to you.
They blink.
Was it the captain? Blink if it was a captain.
They blink.
Blink if what's his name? Nitro? Was Nitro involved as well?
They blink.
Are the pirate lords in on this too?
He doesn't move.
Are there others involved as well?
He blinks.
Champion?
Did you follow? Is the champion involved?
He doesn't move.
Do you know why that they did this?
He doesn't move.
Did they tell you if they were going to undo it eventually?
He blinks.
So this is only temporary.
Doesn't move.
Can I try to figure out what exactly is causing them to not be able to move? If maybe it's not magical, but maybe herb related, like medicinal.
And see if it's like a poison.
Yeah, like maybe if it's like a paralysis.
Sure. Roll me 8d10. And remember, one of them is a blood dice.
Okay, 7 success, 1 failure.
You don't find any evidence of poisoning, at least that's obvious to you. You are familiar that there are some powerful paralytic poisons and drugs, but any of them that you think you could identify don't seem to be obviously presenting themselves here. Bear in mind that means it is still possible that that's the case. You just don't really have a convenient way to identify it right now. But at the very least, you can't find any obvious sign of poisoning.
Do you remember how this was done to you?
They blink.
Was it magic?
They blink.
Was it by divine magic?
Blink.
Craig, ask, is there a god here?
Did an actual god physically do this to you?
Nothing.
Was it one of their followers?
Nothing.
The divine magic, but not an actual god.
Was it a cleric?
Was it one of the healers?
Nothing.
Huh.
Do you want this to be undone?
They blink super rapidly. Like dip, 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 dip.
Then I give you my word, I will do my best to find out what happened and come back to release all of you as soon as I can.
They blink.
And I'm sorry this has happened to you.
They blink twice.
But I will be back. And he'll head back out.
Hang on. Did you ask them about... Because if it was divine magic, were they in the arena when this happened?
That's a good point. He'll head back over to Kay. One more question. Did this happen in the arena?
He blinks.
Did y'all go there at night and see the lights?
Nothing.
Do they know what the light is?
But they didn't go at night. They didn't see the light.
Well, they said it was in the arena, right?
It was in the arena.
Maybe the light blinds them? Maybe they, literally couldn't see it? Makes no sense if they were in the arena. Maybe they were blind? Well, they wouldn't have been able to see who did it. They said the captain did it.
In Nitro.
Are they the ones that are the followers?
Well, they didn't respond to if it was a follower. Which means no.
Well,
As far as they are aware.
I'm gonna go back over to the Seven Samurai
And you can see they're actually approaching as well.
we'll fill them in and see what they think.
As you start explaining it to them, you make it about as far as that he said the captain did it, before they're like, Dr. Koo, I would love to sit and discuss theories with you. We gotta hide.
Really? Oh, shit. Alright, let's go.
Wait, is someone coming up here?
Yes.
So at this point, he's going to turn back into a bat and hide on some of the lockers.
All right.
Oh.
You expend a point of hunger and dive as a bat into one of the abandoned lockers.
So not onto.
Okay, onto. And sorry, what do you do?
Yeah, that's great for you, love, but, have you seen the size of me?
Well, you can do blood magic. Maybe you can go invisible.
I try to go invisible.
Point of hunger spent on blood sorcery. Sorry, you've not really done invisibility before as far as I'm aware, but you focus intensely
I think invisible thoughts.
and vanish from view. Yeah, the samurai are just hiding underneath the hammock. Some are hiding in them and trying to blend in with the frozen people. Sorry, invisibly, you can see the gambler slide under Kay's hammock and just mumble up to him, "Sorry, brother." And the door is gently swung open. Greylog, you can see from your position on the lockers as a halfling enters the locker room and kind of looks around curiously. And you recognize the suit and hat. It's Mark, the halfling that Avaben's friends with back in Tortage. They look around the locker room and start rubbing their paws together excitedly, and... All right, let's see what goodies are to be found here. And they immediately start rifling through the lockers.
So this is the one that has the store?
Yes. You know that they regularly hitchhike to follow you guys on your missions and pick up any magic items you left behind. So it's likely they're just seeing what's around on the ship.
Greylog is going to fly back down, reappear and go, "You asshole! You scared the shit out of us!"
Oh, I can say the same to you, friend. Gave me a startle. And the samurai all look kind of confused from their hiding places. As Asari, now you too can see Greylog yelling irritatedly at Mr. Mouse.
Not yelling, it's whispering very loudly.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, just basically being irritated is my point.
Yeah.
And they kind of put their paws.
False alarm, you guys. Come out. He's just a scavenger.
Oh, that's not all I am. Really, you should be thanking me.
Yes, but right now, this is not the time to be following us. You could have come up here afterwards.
Well, far be it from me to just randomly guess that you're up here. How'd you even get up here?
How'd you get up here?
They twirl their cane and fire the grappling hook that you remember them having in the castle of the Winged Serpent.
Well, if you think back just a few seconds, you'll figure out how we got up here. Remember? Wings. Rope.
Well, stands to reason. How long have you been able to do that? And he immediately just starts rifling through lockers again, now completely uncaring about your presence.
Well, I'm a druid, so a little while.
And as the samurai step out, Justin mumbles in the area where he last remembers seeing a sorry friend of yours.
One way to put it.
He kind of raises an eyebrow to you, Greylog, and Mark kind of shakes their head as they're digging through one of the lockers. And this is the last time I do you lot any favors.
Yeah, you're here. You followed us. You're probably going to get some good stuff. So if anything, we did you a favor.
They kind of smirk to you a little bit, and starting to figure out commerce, are we?
Besides, business is business. Whether we scare the shit out of each other or not.
You've got me there. How's Ave been doing?
He's being cautious, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Guess that explains why he's not here.
He had other business to take care of. So,
Are you sure we can trust this halfling?
Yeah, because if he gets caught, so do we. But if we get caught, I'll turn him over just as quick. There's a mutual beneficiary here. He knows that if he crosses us, we'll cross him.
Boy, you are not as friendly as your friends.
Yeah, I like to survive.
Well, then you'll be happy to know that there was somebody on the way here and I scared them off.
Do you know who?
Some burly Atlantean brute coming by with bowls of food.
Yeah, it would be not.
We need to go, including you, Mark.
Yeah.
If you get caught, you're dead. Come back later.
Justin.
Oh, believe me, I'm not in a hurry to get caught. I know what's in the walls.
Marcus,
Yet to be proved.
I don't know after seeing this.
Before we go in, there's something I wanted to talk to Justin and his team.
But we need to get back to the rooms first. You can talk to him in the locker room. But we need to get out of here when Nitro comes.
I don't want anyone to.
Yeah, but it won't do any good if Nitro catches us. He's going to get back up. He knows somebody's
Well,
here.
while you guys fight for survival and all that, I've got looting to do. And they scamper off into the room and, well, you're looking nice and defenseless. Let's see what you've got.
You touch them and I will personally skewer you.
Oh, come on, they're not using it.
Go through the lockers, nothing else.
You're such a drama king. You should get back to Tordage, have a drink sometime.
Yeah. You know what? Can he try to sneak up behind him and bite him?
You can try.
Yeah, he's just gonna go behind him because he's not breathing or anything, and he's just gonna get him on the neck.
Roll me 2d10. And remember, you have 2 blood dice, so both of them are bloody.
Well, they are both successes. One's a 7 and one's a 9.
Okay. You start sneaking up behind Mark, and they start rifling through the lockers, and as you sneak up behind them, Asari, still invisible, you can see the halfling give a smirk and just bash you in the face with their cane, Greylog. And no, we're all friends here, aren't we?
Just
Keep up the attitude, and I'll see to it that your discount is forgotten next time you're in town.
fine. Just please behave yourself, and I'll reward you with some supplies. And
Fine,
he'll pull out
fine.
that sword crossbow that he made and give it to him.
They take it and kind of look it over interestedly, and all right, I'll leave the unfortunates in the hammocks be, but everything else is free game.
Deal. Just deal.
Pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Orchin. And with that, they go back to rifling through the lockers.
Now let's get out of here.
Agreed. Sorry, where are you?
I'll I guess make the invisibility go away.
As you fade back into sight, Justin kind of breathes a sigh of relief and, all right, let's get out of here.
Now, Asari did mention that I can take on aspects, not having to fully shift, correct?
Yeah, you can fully shift, but you can also take on aspects, but it'll happen against your will if you go into a blood frenzy.
So, because how many more points does he have?
Yeah, 3. I think.
Of hunger?
Yes.
Yeah, you and Asari both have 3.
I'm keeping track. Don't
Okay,
worry.
so since he's still good, he's going to do a partial shift.
Kidding me? You can't do that. So what it is that the partial thing
Yeah.
is that means that you're endlessly hungry for anything.
No, that's forced. He can do it voluntarily. That's what y'all said, right?
Oh yeah, that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically it'll happen against his will outside of his control if he goes into a blood frenzy. But yes, he can expend some of his hunger to take on a partial aspect. What aspect of the beast do you wish to take on?
He wants to take on the wings. And he's going to then fly everyone down quickly and quietly.
Okay. Roll me 3d10.
Oof. 1 success, 2 failures.
Okay. Sorry, anything noteworthy from you?
I don't really seem like I have a choice.
All right. Greylog, you sprout a pair of great big bat wings. You now have 2 points of hunger remaining. And you're really starting to feel it now, that like gnawing in your stomach. You need to eat something. And you start gradually, one by one, carrying everyone down to the base. However, as you grab Asari's big, Asari's heavy, And as you start trying to force them, you're trying to like lift them up over the railing of the balcony so you can get them down to the floor, but that takes out so much of your energy, especially now that you're getting hungry. And as you fall to the ground, sorry, you don't get hurt on the landing, but it does make a and everyone in the samurai winces, and you hear what sounds to be Mark shutting the balcony door and locking it, as the two of you with your enhanced hearing, sorry, you especially, given that you have extra sensory abilities, hear the sound of footsteps rapidly coming towards the room.
Kind of give Greg a slap across the head, and then just gonna give a shooing motion to the humans.
Okay.
There's nowhere to hide.
Just go, and we need to take an alternate route back.
All right. Alfred and the gambler run for the door.
He could think of one potential solution to both Greylog's hunger problem and the problem of what to do if he gets spotted.
Yeah. But that's only if.
As Al and the gambler approach the door, and thankfully, since you guys didn't lock it behind you, just throw it open, and all of you just start booking it. I will say it's a left or right decision. Sorry, in Greylog, you recall that going from this direction, both would get you back to your locker room at roughly the same time, but just any preference on which way you go?
Which way do I hear the sounds of approach coming from?
I will say, sorry, your senses are a little bit better than Greylog's. They're coming from the right.
Right, left. Everyone left.
Right. And the samurai just start fucking booking it.
I couldn't help myself.
Fair. Sorry, Greylog. Greylog, you are going to roll me 2 d10s. Sorry, you are going to roll me 2 d10s. And remember, hunger. So I think pretty much every dice involved in these rolls are bloody dice now.
Oh no.
Things are
All
getting
right.
dangerous.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I got a 10.
I got an 8 and a 9.
Uh-huh.
They both passed, but one's a 10.
Okay. But bear in mind, you still need to get a critical, which is 2 10s. So, Greylog, you feel the desire to go right. Not even because it'd be smarter, but because there's prey that way, and you're starving. But you're able to focus yourself enough to just start booking it to the left along with the samurai. The two of you outrunning them quite considerably, but they've managed to at least keep pace.
Ugh, I should join a marathon group after this. This is great.
And you guys start quickly and quietly trying to make your way back to the locker room. Avaben? Avaben, at this point, we'll just pick up where we left off, basically. So the Storm, kind of looking a little nervous, but, well, you guys are friends with the Seven Samurai, right? Maybe you guys should turn them.
I don't know. I feel like my friends are starting to realize I'm taking a liking to them. Might be hard to convince them.
Very well. We'll take care of the samurai then. I can't go after the Scorpio sailors. They know me. It'd be suspicious. The captain doesn't trust me at the best of times, you know? So, do you think your team could handle the Scorpio sailors?
I think we can handle that. Of course, once we strike, I have a feeling things will get quite chaotic.
Not if we don't get caught. All right, I'll go after the firing line. And the bomb squad kind of looks to him curiously. Oh, they're sponsored by the Thieves Guild. I saw it on the roster, and I think the captain would think it was funny if I managed to beat them super easy like. So, if you guys like, I'll take care of the firing line.
So now there's which would be the last remaining team?
That would be the deck stackers.
Does Avaven know who they are?
You only recognize them. They are a group of 4 people who dress in these kind of like almost like card-themed uniforms, spades, diamonds, hearts, and clubs, and carry pikes that are tipped in their respective symbols. Other than that, you don't know a whole lot about them. However, you do remember that they were one of the groups that was fighting with everyone else whenever you guys first got here.
Okay. How many are the Scorpio group?
The Scorpio sailors are 5, so that's 9 people in total.
I'm assuming the 7 samurai are 7.
Yes, in total.
Alright, I guess, if I be like, I guess we'll take care of the last one, too. Just to not put too much on one of y'all. You're already having to take on 7.
Very well.
And the kid seems a little bit off on the ideas, so I don't want to give him too much to have to deal with.
I can handle. Do you want me to go after the firing line? Wait. Sorry. Do you want me to go after the deck stackers too, Mr. Avaven?
No, I think my team can handle it.
Well, if you're sure, sir. He kind of nervously adjusts his mask, but the bomb squad leader kind of chuckles and you'll need to take that off for what we have planned. Might find it difficult to bite through fabric. I've never bitten somebody before. Believe it or not, this will be a new experience for most of us. Unless you, and he looks to you, Vaben, have some secret proclivities you've neglected to tell us.
I don't bite very much.
That does get a chuckle out of the bomb squad, and the Swarm Storm kind of puts their hands together nervously, but they do smile. And
usually there's only one person who would consider doing something like this too, but circumstances.
The Swarm Storm takes his mask off, revealing his young face, and you can indeed see a mouth bristling with fangs as he gives you a smile. And probably wouldn't be the best time anyway, Mr. Vaben. What with us carrying a teeth-borne disease and all.
Well, luckily this will all be over after they shoot another cannonball at us. That is I never
Very
thought
true.
I would say.
At the very least, not more than once. In that case, there's nothing left to do but wait. Mortals have to sleep eventually.
Yeah, and my team needs to get back anyways. I'll fill them out on the plan. Remember, if we wind up facing a team that the other of us turned,
We will keep our word as long as you keep yours. You may have stolen the top rank from us, but we are interested in battling you traditionally. Let us hope we get the honor.
if there's anything I've learned about this tournament is that there's probably going to be nothing traditional about it.
Very well, then we wait.
Just think, we got turned into different races in the first round. The second round, we got some weird magic. The fourth round, we were turned into anthropomorphic animals.
I had a lot of fun with that one, actually.
Well, I think you were the intended target audience for that.
He kind of smiles and rubs the back of his head a little bit. And I'll say it's around this point.
Like,
No, go on.
now we'll be turned into fish and expected to go out and fight in the ocean.
Do you think they'd actually do that?
I wouldn't put it past them.
Sorry, Greylog.
Sorry,
Go on.
Another funny thing.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
He looks to the sworn and like, I hate to imagine what they'll do if they have a de-aging cannonball.
Oh, I'm too young to get de-aged.
Exactly.
At this point, Greylog and Asari, you're ahead of the swarm, or you're ahead of the Seven Samurai. The door to the locker room is still barred, and from the sounds of it, Asari, whoever's pursuing you, has not given up yet. What do the two of you wish to do?
Gonna keep running.
Well, we got to the door, right?
Yeah, but it's still barricaded.
He's gonna lift the board and put it down. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it as quietly as he can, but he's getting the board off before the others even get there.
All right, Greylog, you hoist the board out of the way, and I imagine enter the locker room.
Yes.
All right. Avaben, your small talk with the bomb squad and the swarm storm is briefly interrupted as you hear the of the wooden plank being lifted, and Greylog bursts into the room looking kind of harried, and Asari bursts in not long after, looking equally harried, and you can hear the tramping footfalls of the Seven Samurai in a dead sprint.
The minute I see Justin, I'm going to grab him by his shirt, and I'm going to look him in the eyes. I'm going to say, I need you to trust me. And then I'm going to bite him.
What? Who's Justin?
The guy from the Seven Samurai?
Are you using your ability on
Oh,
him?
you know, that narrows it down. You know,
No, I'm not using my. I'm not.
Oh,
See
the light.
him because you can't turn him fully.
Exactly. Yes. Somebody get sick.
Oh
I
my!
figured it, but it sounds like she's shading it.
Okay, I'll give you credit. That's clever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The strain that Asari has isn't contagious. Like, they can make somebody undead, but they won't be under her control, which means that he'll be a vampire and thus he'll be infected, but maintain his independence.
So they're assuming unless another vampire can take control of another vampire's fight, he's
Which they can, but bear in mind, they would have to do it with the specific intent of doing that. So even if another vampire just fed on him, it probably wouldn't do anything. They would have to basically go out of their way to mind control them.
So why is she doing
That said,
the same.
because even if you guys infect all of the samurai, he won't lose his ability to think. All right.
I've been playing
Asari,
this for like 30 minutes.
So, Asari, to be clear, are you using your dominate ability or no?
I am not. No. I am just gonna sink my teeth into that beautiful, beautiful neck.
All right. Well, first you have to see if he'll.
Oh my!
First, you'll have to see if he lets you.
The minute I fucking see him, I'm just gonna say, "Trust me, please," and then bite.
So not giving him a chance to react.
I'm not really giving him a chance to react.
But, I mean,
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, roll me 6d10, and remember you have used, I believe, 2 powers, so 2 of them are bloody.
Any more?
Oh. How many?
One. Yeah, but then I'll fucking forget. 1, 2, 3. Three.
Three success, 3 fail.
Yeah, 3 success, 3 fails.
Are any of the bloody crits?
No, but one of them was an 8.
All right.
They were
Yeah, as long as they're not crits, they still function normally. All right, 3 successes. Okay. Justin kind of freezes in place, kind of considers briefly, and whether it's just shock or that he trusts you, he does not react as you sink your teeth into his neck and begin to feed.
Oh, boy.
Avaben, you and Greylog are able to see this happening from the Greylog from the threshold of the locker room, and Avaben from inside as Greylog opens the doors. And Asari, just as you completely drain just in time of blood, and he falls to the ground, the figure that's been chasing you catches up. As Nitro, with a heavy-looking cutlass in one hand and a double-barreled pistol in the other, charges down the hall and kind of stares at Justin unconscious at your feet, bleeding from the neck, and you with blood all around your mouth. The door's wide open with Greylog outside of the locker room.
Can I do one of those reptilian, head tilts?
You may. You kind of tilt your head at him, and he kind of stares at all of you. And what are you doing out after hours?
Out? What do you mean?
He just gestures with his cutlass.
Did you see any of us out?
Oh, well, it's quite a coincidence, actually. I see 3 of you outside right now. But by all means, if you're inside, prove it. And he just smiles at you.
I thought they got inside the locker room.
Yeah, we're in the locker room.
Greylog opened the door, but nobody invited him in, so he couldn't go inside.
Yeah.
But we'd already been invited in previously.
You were invited in, but you left, and you were away for a while. Whenever you invite a guest over to your house, they can't just come back whenever they want.
It's not an open invitation to come whenever you want. This isn't the fucking Sims where they just invite themselves in.
Sorry, I didn't realize that was how that worked. I thought since we'd already been invited.
Well, even then, it wouldn't matter. Asari and Justin are still caught outside anyway. He kind of rubs at the...
Can Avaben see this happening?
Yeah, all this is because Greylog opened the door, so you can see all this unfolding.
Well, you see, we kind of forgot to invite them in.
Did you know? He kind of smirks and looks to Justin and him.
Well, I can't say anything about them, but...
He looks to Asari.
I'm just doing a friend a favor.
Are you? He asked real nice like?
It was
I'm
just
sorry,
tricky,
is there
you
a
just
rule
missed
against it?
Never said that, lad. Never said that whatsoever. And he kind of looks around in caution before... All right, I'll let you two off the hook. Just please try and follow the rules.
Yes, sir.
And
Aye.
Dr. Koo, clean this bloody mess up.
Oh, you act like you've never had one of these kinds of messes
in first.
Never said that. Just said that we clean them afterwards, and we'd prefer to make the person who did it do it. He sheaths his cutlass and slides his pistol back into his belt. You'll sleep well, much as you can anyhow.
I'm sure it'll be... I'm sure though it'll be a fun night.
Got any
Tension
dirt?
in this area is thick enough to cut. I think we could borrow your sword so we can cut some of this thickness out.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to say no on that. But
What are you
and he
for?
oh, well, it's the dumbest thing. I'd heard intruders skulking about where they wasn't supposed to be, and I figured they probably weren't going to go down without a fight. Thought it might be best to come armed.
But you're always armed.
I'm sure the current challenge had you thinking.
It did have me being right cautious, I'll give you that, lad.
Hey, you can't catch anybody if they tell you to go away.
That I can't.
And they have the power to make sure you have to.
That they do. But they have to get their fangs on me throat first. And he waves his hand and turns on his heel. I need to go let the captain know I found a stowaway aboard. The rest of you just... as long as this gets cleaned up, I'll let you off the hook. Just try not to let me catch you again, eh? And he gives you all a wink before turning and starting to tromp
Before you
down
head
the hall.
off,
Aye?
I'm curious. What stowaway?
Some little halfling git. Caught him in one of the storage rooms skulking about. And told him to, let's say, get back to where outside folk are allowed to be.
I think I know which one you're talking about. We met him back in Tortage.
That about scans to me, it does. Don't suppose you can give me any advice to help me catch the bloke?
Valuable items?
Use some bait, eh?
Yeah. He's a sucker for a good profit.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Mr. Orchin. I'll see if I can't convince the captain to pay me a bit early. Understood, Mr. Orchin. You all have a nice day now. And he looks down to Justin and then to you. Sorry, you didn't kill him, did you?
Oh.
Don't think he did.
Well, I mean, he is technically undead now.
Well, as long as you keep that inconsistent, then no need to report this to the captain then, eh? After all, we all make mistakes. And he winks.
So, how are the rest of the 7 samurai reacting to her having bitten him? After we promised not to.
They look really fucking furious, but they're not willing to do anything yet with the captain still, with Nitro still right there.
Yeah, let's get inside. I'm going to help Justin up, and I'm going to help him in, and I'm just going to say, now whatever happens, they can't control you.
He just lays limply in your arms as you stand up. And the archer of the 7 samurai with their arms crossed and their brow furrowed stands up and says something in a language none of you understand, but Greylog, as you kind of cautiously experiment, you see it seems to have been a welcome and you're able to cross the threshold. And as you and Asari enter with Justin in Asari's arms, and the door shuts behind you, and you can hear Nitro putting the barricade back into place before tromping off. The moment his footsteps are out of earshot, you all hear this clicking, and Avaben, you're excluded from this, so but Asari and Greylog, you find every member of the 7 samurai has pulled pistols on you, with the exception of the one who had stayed behind, who is leveling a bow directly at Asari's heart.
I'm gonna stand very still, and I'm just gonna say, I did him a favor, and I can help all of you too. Just lead out your guns and listen to me. Don't give anybody else any other idea. Because
the swarm storm is like, on his feet with his hands up, like twitching and like ready to like jump on somebody the moment the fight escalates. The bomb squad, Avaben, you can hear a very slight kind of from their little marble bodies, almost like the sound of lit gunpowder as they kind of roll side to side, like they're gearing up to just lunge as this kind of tense standoff.
I'm just gonna hold up my hands. I'm going to be chaos any second. And if I can get you infected, they cannot control me. I need you to trust me.
You might have to wait until you can give them an example.
Sorry, roll me 60-10, two of them bloody.
Well, actually, she fed on him. Does that help her?
Oh, yes, good. Thank you for reminding me. So one of them is bloody. You did restore some of your hunger by feeding.
But didn't he say there was a mess?
Yes.
Didn't you say the sight of...
Oh yeah, the sight of blood turns us
Oh,
feral.
no.
But bear in mind, Asari drained him. The only mess there was what was on her. Since it's not fresh, since she had already fed on it, that doesn't apply here. Basically, messes from feedings don't count. Otherwise, a vampire would go into a blood rage literally every time they ate.
I have a feeling that some versions would be like that.
All but
Yes,
one
but
is,
not this one.
Yeah.
all but one are successes.
So 5 success, 1 fail.
The samurai are silent for a long moment before slowly lowering their guns. Although Al steps towards you, Asari, and you will return him to us, and you will avoid spreading your disease to any other of my friends. And if there is anything wrong with his mind, I promise to stake you myself. And he takes Justin out of your arms and kind of carries him off.
You do know everyone stops being a vampire when they shoot us with one of those cannonballs again, right?
The gambler who's still looking at Asari with squinted, kind of suspicious eyes, although he has holstered his guns and put his hands on his belt. Yeah, but we ain't stupid. And the one in all black gives a nod, and whoever the Nosferatu bites gets control of them. Ain't that right?
Not always. And that's what I wanted to let you guys know. And I didn't want anyone else to know. Because everyone's going to want me to fight them. As pleasant as that sounds, I really don't think that's going to be a good case of showmanship.
The one in all black kind of thinks for a moment before just kind of curtly nodding and turning to Al, who's like gently laying Justin up against one of the lockers and like feeling him to see if he can't find any sign of life. And we'll see, miss.
Besides,
We'll see.
if you're looking for life, it won't really work. We have no pulse.
Either way, they're going to attack. And if you let me infect you now, all of you, I can spare you.
Yeah, that way you have your mind still.
That way you still have your mind. You can still fight. And you can still be in this competition. Everyone else is going to be under the other vampire's control. But I need you to trust me on this, please.
There's a moment of silence before one of the samurai, who's been relatively taciturn up to this point, finally does speak up in a kind of hushed, whispery voice. Well, it would perhaps be advantageous to us.
It's fun. Like you know how y'all couldn't see very well in that room back there?
Now, here's the fun part. We can make it look like I'm viciously being mean to all of you, and then just absolutely create chaos. Because otherwise, it's going to look a little fishy, don't you think?
Well, except we don't want to let everyone else know that we started the whole,
Well, weren't we going to do that anyway?
Yeah, like, are they literally just talking about this in the middle of the room?
in the locker room, and we're doing this quietly.
Can we just end? I can't take this anymore.
Under the pretense that we were being quiet.
I will say I did have just one final thing, and I was planning to end it here anyway. Avabin, one of the marbles, kind of rolls up and taps against your ankle, and as you look down, you realize it's the leader of the bomb squad who calls up to you in a kind of hushed voice. Does this change our plans?
Oh. If what she's saying is true, then they'd be immune. Someone could end up still having to fight. Unless they, get put up against one of the major leagues.
There's a moment of silence, and then the bomb squad member gives you a small nod.
Unless
Understood.
we can override her control.
Well, we'll see what we can do, boss. You play your part, we'll do ours. And they roll back to the side as, one by one, the seven samurai begin to approach Asari cautiously, seeming like they are mollified for now that it might be in their best interests. Although whether that's them seeing your own form of reason or perhaps a little bit of vampiric persuasion, it's hard to say. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
This is getting interesting. We almost got caught.
You said you wanted Avabin involved in shit.
Oh, yeah. And indeed, you all have discovered that not one, not two, but 3 wonders of Plundon are indeed real. The balcony to nowhere led to a secret locker room where the fighters you guys have defeated are trapped, unable to move, unable to speak, simply lying there.
Not used by gods.
Indeed. And supposedly, the captain and Nitro were in on this. However, despite this, when Nitro caught the Divine 5 and 7 Samurai out after hours, rather than doing what the contract stated, throwing you out of the competition and, if necessary, overboard, he let you off the hook.
Of the Divine 5.
Well, yes, but you get my point. Don't split hairs. He decided to let you off the hook and not pursue the matter further. Things are gradually beginning to complicate. Avabin has agreed to, with the help from the bomb squad and the Swarm Storm, infect everyone in the minor league to maximize the chances of success for those who are infected. But Asari seems to be intent on immunizing the 7 samurai from vampiric control. Whether this works remains to be seen. 3 wonders have been discovered to at least be true. However, explanations for them are not exactly forthcoming. And you now know that Mark Mouse has once again smuggled his way aboard where you guys have traveled and seems just as intent as all of you at solving these mysteries and turning a profit on the venture, if nothing else. Let me get to my little intro file that I never pull up before the session.
Don't you mean outro?
Is that not what I said?
Yeah, you said it.
You said intro.
Oh, outro then. If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/GrahamCrackers, GRAMECRACKERZ, for my Friday campaign, The Goldshine Investigations, at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time. We are having our final session of the campaign this week. So if you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend tuning in. It's about a party of investigators unraveling the cultish conspiracy that threatens their home. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info, resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer spreading vampiric influence. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly, and support our episodes. Post on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions, and on the Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channel to catch up on what you may have missed. Check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our one of our many vampires Twitch channels at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link's about to be posted as well. On Ko-fi at kofi.com/oddtornadoproductions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd, TNOR in fact capitalized, to be updated as soon as we go live. And if you like this party and want to see more of them, plus or minus a few, tune in tomorrow, Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, for our Tuesday game of Black Ink and Blue Blood, featuring a party of politicians and nobles unraveling their own conspiracy if they can just stop stabbing each other in the back long enough. Thanks everyone at the table so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home.
Back at the pile.
Thanks everyone at the table so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.